So it's time for you to just sit with you and investigate the things you really love, to get to know what you like. And it's going to be an exciting journey because just imagine feeling happy, feeling full of joy, knowing the things that you can do for yourself.
Sisters, hey, little girl, are you looking for hope in a world that has lied to you about who you really are? Grown woman, holding in story she needs to tell what God really wants you to do in this world.
Today on Staci Speaks Hope, we have a guest that has touched the lives of women for decades. She helps women entrepreneurs build their businesses and be empowered. This is Linette Cottrell, and we welcome her today. Linette, thank you so much for being here.
I am so happy to be here, Stacy. Thanks for the invitation.
You are quite welcome. I know you've got a story to tell. So we'll jump right in because I know people are anxious to know as you prepare for your new brand called Empower Her. That gives you a glimpse into Linette's life of what she knows, what she's known, what she's experienced. And so, Linette, tell us what you know about your little girl and the journey that has brought you to the place where you're talking about empowering other women in their businesses.
Yes, yes, sure. So what I know about my little girl is that when I see when we see people, we see adults walking through life, doing different things, and for me, the focus is walking through business. It takes we what I think we need to stop and realize is that they're walking through business and their experiences from their younger person, right? We see the grown body, we see the years, the age, but they are really um, experiencing life and acting from that childhood. Um, so when I work with women entrepreneurs, and I work with women entrepreneurs on mindset, money mindset coaching.
Okay.
And what I know for sure is that we build our mindset based on how we grew up, based on our childhood experiences. So I could usually trace it back to something they experienced, some environment they were around when they were growing up that informed their relationship today with money. And the thing, Stacey, is that it's so constant, like it's been there so long that they're not even aware of it. It's like it's a part of them, so they don't see it as something separate or this could be the cause for me doing this today. They just see it how this is how I am.
Yeah, right.
It's how it is, you know.
Absolutely.
So it
And it's so
really,
funny that you say that
uh-huh.
because what it makes me curious about, you're talking about it on this side of it. You had to have gone through this journey with and for yourself.
Yes.
What was your little girl? What did your little girl believe about money that you use as the impetus of your teaching and coaching other women today? I know you're already watching the episode, and I just want to give you a quick moment to just remind you that if anything you're hearing sparks something for your little girl, some attention that she needs, some story that resonated with you from our guest today that makes you want to pursue that about your own little girl journey, I want to encourage you to order your copy of the No More Lies guided workbook and healing journal. There's prompts that help you find your little girl, find the things that made her happy, to tell the story and get you started. Go to stacyspeakshope.com and get your copy today. Now back to our conversation.
So two things I recognize when connecting with my little girl. One is that she was used to not having a voice.
Mm,
So I grew up in a large family, a family of 13. I'm the youngest of 13. And I always loved peacefulness, right? I always loved peace. So what that informed in my experience was when everybody else around me wanted something different, I felt safe, or I felt more in my energy of I just let them choose what they want. Why
Mm.
add another voice to the, conversation about I don't want this and I don't want that. Just whatever they choose will be fine. So doing that all of my childhood, in the energy of just being peaceful, like it's not a big deal. What they want is fine with them. But then you get to be an adult, and now it's time to really decide what you want,
Yes.
right? You're not in those dynamics. You're out here in the world on your own. And so what do you want? So that's the questioning I had to do to myself. What do I really want? As opposed to letting everyone else, whatever they want, be okay.
Right.
So that was a big learning process for me. And that took time to mature into that, because it went from being peaceful as a child and just going along with things because it was simpler, it was easier, more peace, to being adult and just accepting what everybody else wanted because it was simple, it was easier, but it wasn't really appropriate for those situations. To maturing to a space where I had to give myself permission to desire what I wanted.
Ooh,
Right? Like,
say that
okay, now
again.
this is not about being peaceful. And
Right.
right now this is kind of painful,
Yeah.
right? Because my own voice is wanting to come out, but I'm like, okay, something has to change here. So
And
that's
you almost
one.
have to rehearse your voice.
Yeah, yes,
And I'm going to play this back a little bit because what I heard as a young child, you had the wisdom to say, I want to be a peacekeeper
yeah,
or not add to the chaos of so many different opinions.
yeah.
So you carried a wisdom as a child. At what age, at what point in life, or what situation caused you to finally say, you know what? First of all, do I know what I want? And can I say it?
Hmm.
And when I can't say it, this hurts.
Right.
Now I'm like,
Yes, yes. So that didn't really occur till I was like in my 20s.
okay.
And the biggest thing that comes to mind, I'm sure there were little bit steps along the way that triggered it, but the biggest thing that comes to mind is in relationships.
Yeah.
So I was in relationship with someone, and I realized that they were more articulate at communicating what they felt, their opinion about things.
Yeah.
And in the past, I had allowed that, okay, because I can't articulate it, or I kind of felt like I couldn't think fast enough, right, quick
Mm.
enough
You're
to
that.
respond, in this conversation. It kind of meant that whatever their opinion was overrode what I felt.
Yeah.
And I got to a point where I said, you know what? I was able to say to them, I can explain to you what I'm feeling in words, but I know what I'm feeling. So even though you're able to say it right clearly, and that just doesn't feel right to me, I'm not able to debate it with you where I win this debate of you're wrong and I'm right, but
Mm.
I know that's wrong for me. So even though I can't articulate it like you can, I'm not agreeing with you.
So what was the emotion
Say that
that you
again.
felt? I said, what emotion did you feel when you finally got to that point? Because, sometimes there's got to be
I
something that pushes it out.
Right. I felt like, you mean what caused me
Like
to,
what caused you to finally say,
I was frustrated and I was feeling pain inside, like really emotional pain.
mm,
I couldn't put words to it. You know
hmm,
how sometimes you can listen to someone and they can say something, you were like, that's what I was feeling.
yes,
That's how I felt. I couldn't put words to it to express it, but the feeling inside was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I could feel it expanding. So it was
mm,
kind of like saying, like, you're not going to ignore me, right?
there you go.
This pain is
Yeah.
here. You're not going to, I'm too big for you to ignore. You might not know how to speak me out, but I'm here.
Yeah.
So you're going to make your awareness of me known. So, in the whatever way I could, I was able to say, look, I'm feeling differently about this. and I don't agree with what you're saying. I can't debate it with you, but I still don't agree with it. And because I can express it like you can, does not make my feelings invalid. So we're just going to
Mm,
agree to disagree. And
that's
I had
really
to
good.
do that over and over and over again. And then, of course, after the conversation, because I'm a thinker, I would go back and think through and think through those feelings because, and what I realized, Staci, was that came from me saying okay to everything
Right.
and not investigating my feelings. So all
Mm,
those years from my little girl growing up, just not investigating what she really wanted led me to a place where I was an adult in my 20s, not in tune with my feelings.
yes.
So what I felt was the pain, but not the real feeling, the real emotion. I couldn't put words to it
Right.
because I had cut myself off from them for so many years. It's like, okay, we need to build a new relationship. I need to get to know what this feeling is inside me. What is it? What is it? What do I call it? What does it feel like?
Right. I heard you just say you had to build a new relationship with Linette,
Yes.
with little Linette.
Yes.
Did you feel like, go back to childhood, did you feel like if you said something you would have not been heard, or you just took the path of least resistance in watching what was happening around you?
I think I took the path of least resistance. I think over time there were, it's moments when I felt like, well, they're not going to listen if I say something. But that was after I had taken that path, right? So
Mm,
I kind of set that belief in my own mind, right? Like based on the way they operate, when I say something, they're not going to listen. But I never gave it a try. I never kept trying it, right?
right.
So yeah, yeah.
It's interesting that you say that because the workbook that I wrote is called No More Lies. And
Uh,
so the seed that was planted sometimes is planted by our own reasoning and justification. Your little girl did what she thought was right at the time. Let me be a peacemaker. Let me not add to the noise and the many voices. But then after a while, you said, my voice doesn't matter.
yes.
And so then that disconnected you from not only your voice, but your feelings.
Yes,
And I'm so glad that you were able to identify that you had to find her. You had to find out what you felt again, what you really wanted all along, that and decided as a child. What age would you say that you were conscious that you said, I'm just going to agree, I'm going to agree, I'm going to agree?
I would say around 5 or 6.
Oh, see, look at that.
Hmm.
And so a 5-year-old,
Yes,
and
yes,
here's the shocker: the 5-year-old was running your 20-year-old life
yes.
until
That
you set
that part.
yourself free from
Yes,
that narrative, that
right.
self-imposed narrative. At that,
Yes, I love you say that. So that 5-year-old was in the 20-year-old body saying, I don't know what to name this feeling because that 5-year-old had never graduated from 5 to 6 to 7 expressing those feelings. So it's a 5-year-old feeling, a grown-up feeling and not knowing the word for it. And
ooh,
that makes sense. That's what it was.
yes,
So then the grown-up had to take those feelings and be able to interpret them for all of Lynette.
right. All
Yeah,
the ages and stages up to that point too.
exactly,
And imagine all
exactly.
the feelings and emotions you go through adolescence
Right.
and puberty and
Yes. And it was a process, and it still is a process. I still recognize very keenly when people are attempting to impose the way they feel about things on
mm,
and I stand up for me, right?
yeah,
And a lot of people don't like it. But
right.
I'm like, I've been on the other side of this. So you not liking it is better than me in pain, right? I can
It's
deal
better than
with
me
you
not
not
liking it.
liking it, yeah, but I can't survive with me in pain because I think you don't like it.
Right.
So yeah, so in everything from how you handle the passing of someone's life and how you respond to the other things other people are going through. People want you to respond the way they think is the right way to respond. And when I choose my way, the way that sits well with me, like, I'm not going to yell at someone about this. I'm going to talk to them a certain way about it. You might yell at them about it because you think it just doesn't make sense. And, I'm like, that's your way. That's
Right.
not the way. And that's not the way that sits right with me and my energy and my spirit. So I'm busy being me. I'm not trying to be like you. So your judgment of how I handle it is okay. It's all right. But I still don't handle it this way. And a lot of people are shocked because I have a calm nature, but I do not allow that. So as a child, that calm nature meant what everybody else, says goes. Now that calm nature means that I understand who I am. I
Mhm.
understand you're different. And I accept you as you are, and you have to accept me as I am.
And that's such a loving place to speak from, to process life from, that it does not have to be combative.
Right.
Because and I heard you say I've been on the other side of that. So
Yeah.
what you internalize and apply is that you're not projecting your will
Yes.
on somebody else any more than you
Right.
want them to project their will onto you.
Exactly.
That's
So I can't say this is the only way to handle it the way I like to handle it either, right?
right.
I say this is my way and that's your way.
And what a tender approach when you're talking about money. One of the
Yeah,
most painful places, most misconstrued places with money among Black people, among money, among Christians,
yeah,
all the stories and narratives and beliefs and experiences that create our money story.
yes.
Ooh, I know you can
I
say more
love
about
that.
that.
The
That was your
experiences that create our money stories. That is beautiful. I love the way you said that because that's exactly what it is. It's what we experienced around
right.
money that informs our money story.
Yes.
And what I found out that was really shocking to me was that entrepreneurs who are in business to make money, a lot of us are afraid of being successful because we haven't seen it around us, right? So it's not
Yeah.
logical, right? It's like logically you're in business to be successful, to make money, to
Hmm.
grow your profits, but emotionally, you're not in tune with that and you're trying to figure out why do I feel stuck? And you're doing this workshop, you're going to listen to this coach, and you're doing getting this other program for your CRM, and you're doing all the trying to learn all the stuff when
Right.
it's not about all that stuff, which is why
Yeah.
you still feel stuck after you complete that workshop and you use that new program and you get frustrated. This is not it. But instead of looking inward, you go out looking for something else.
Right.
So, what I realize is that when we talk about the inner child recognition, is so when you're young and something physically happens to you, let's say someone throws cold water on you remedy that by drying yourself off, right?
Right.
When someone emotionally hurts you, let's say
Mm.
it's a teacher who tells you, because I've unfortunately heard this so much, teachers who tell students that you're not going to amount to anything or you're not smart enough for this.
Yeah.
You don't have a way to quickly remedy that, right?
Right.
Because it's internal. What they make you feel when they say that is internal.
Yes.
So what we do instead is we ignore it because we got to go on with our day at school. We got other classes we got to go to. We got to hang with our friends. We don't have the time to sit in why do I feel like why did that make me feel like this? And what is this feeling? And is it true? And should I feel this way? We just feel the pain and then move on. So when I'm talking to entrepreneurs about money mindset, I realized that they had experiences that planted seeds of ideals and emotional relationships with money within them, and they didn't have the time or the know-how to sit in and examine and critically think about what was given to them. They just kept it in there and went on about their business. So now they're trying to build a business, and just like I had to go back and find the words for my emotions,
Yeah.
they have to go back and find the words for those emotions they have around money.
And I love that you say that. And what connects in my mind to the way I coach, I promise it connects to their identity,
Mm,
their self-worth,
yes,
that fear
yes,
of there's that dance. You people used to say I have a fear of failure. Now they say I have a fear of success.
yes,
And they're two sides of the same coin of being unworthy.
yep.
Why do we feel unworthy? If we think our voice doesn't matter, even to our family,
Yeah.
why is it going to matter to anybody else? Or if we deny our feelings, the example that you gave, we stuff those feelings, we
Mm,
ignore them externally,
hmm.
we stuff them internally, and they have health, physical, mental, and spiritual health implications
Yes.
that pop out many years later.
Right.
And we have
Right.
no idea. Again, the disconnect you talked about,
Yes. Yes.
totally disconnected from the fact that
Yes.
I felt unworthy. I felt not enough. I felt like I wasn't smart enough. Felt unloved.
Yes.
And so, of course, I don't deserve money
Right.
or good things to happen or to be successful.
Yes.
The brain
Right.
just can't even process those because internally we are telling ourselves a whole different story.
Right. And Stacy, the thing is, we're not aware of it,
No,
right? So
not at
we
all.
we've kept this emotion, this experience inside that said, I am not worthy. But on the outside, we're saying, but I am, but I do deserve this. I do want to grow this business. I do want to be successful. Yeah, but you have to get in line with what's within you, right?
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
alignment being the key. What is if God says everything I have is yours and I have a cattle on 1,000 hills? What is that? That's like exceedingly abundantly. That is
yeah,
our promise. I will you may have exceedingly abundantly above all you can ask or think according to his riches and glory, but we're worried about a couple of dollars or
exactly,
because there's still
exactly.
we're having this whole mental gymnastics, I'll call it,
Right,
that we
right.
say this and then
That's it. You say one thing,
yes,
but it really is something else.
absolutely.
Mm.
So did you experience a money journey story for yourself? Did you?
Yes, I did. And what I realized that in my and I've heard the story from many entrepreneurs in growing up, where especially when I talk to Black women entrepreneurs, we don't have a history of having a direct awareness of money coming in,
Mm,
paying bills, having money left over, and having a freedom with your finances, right?
mm.
A lot of us experience not enoughness,
Yeah.
right? I don't have enough of that. Don't don't touch anything in the store. When we go in here, don't look at nothing. Don't touch nothing. Don't make me have to tell you again, right?
Wait, just give me that look. Be like,
Um, yeah, exactly. I just paid for blah blah blah. I don't have enough for that. So we have an experience of scarcity with the money. Like
yes.
I remember, of course, being in the family of 13 kids, it's kind of like you got hand-me-downs, you got school clothes one time a year, right? If they wore out, they wore out.
If you
If you
outgrew them,
needed
of course you're
something
gonna
else,
grow, right?
yeah. If you really needed something else, you kind of felt like it was ridiculous, like you were
Mm.
it's a problem, right?
Like you
Something
were the
tore,
problem.
something broke, yeah, something broke, something tore, you need it replaced. Why you making me spend this money on something else, right?
And
Like
that's
it wasn't
another message of worth,
intentional,
right?
right?
Ooh.
Exactly. So the work is to keep everything in good condition, right? Never need to replace something, right? So yeah,
They want a journey where God didn't have the sandals wear out when they were in the wilderness, right?
exactly,
I'm
exactly.
like, we're
This
talking
one
about a
pair supposed to
miracle here.
last you forever.
No, your feet
And
aren't gonna grow this year.
right. And if it does, then there's something wrong with you. Why? You
And
just
then that's
it's
pressure on a child.
yes, yes.
Those growth spurts are not in our control, right?
It not at all. Not at all. Yeah, because I heard about someone who said they grew like 4 inches over summer. I was like, okay,
And it's
wow.
yeah,
Yeah,
especially
so it's
certain ages, you just have those spurts. Like, and especially
right.
boys, right?
Yes, exactly. So you
Wow.
don't realize that you're internalizing that stress
Yes.
that you're getting from the person who are taking care of you, telling you, because when you need something else, they're stressed, right? And sometimes you don't even tell them. I remember wearing these that needed to be repaired, but not saying it because I didn't want
Right.
to get that stress response.
Mm.
So as adults, we do a couple of things. Either we go the opposite way and we overspend, we get in a lot of debt, we pacify ourselves when anything goes wrong by spending money because we never got it, or we hold on to that same type of energy, not knowing why. We call it being frugal, but it's really not being able to treat ourselves to anything, not
Oh,
being comfortable with spending money to take care of ourselves, always saying, well, that's really not necessary, right? I could get that, but that's really not necessary, right? It has to be a dire necessity to spend the money. So that's
I
what I
heard
had to
that
break
as
out of.
fear.
Yes,
Fear. Wow. I hadn't heard it as fear before, Lynette.
yes,
Fear to even take care of ourselves,
yes,
to get the things that we need.
right. And that ties to worthiness too.
It does.
Because you're thinking I need the least possible, or and what you're saying is I deserve the least possible.
Right.
I'm gonna
Right.
stay in this strict little box
Teeny
because yeah,
little.
anything outside of here is gonna be stress, and then I'm not worth it because people always got upset when I need additional things, right? So I had
Ooh.
to teach myself about self-care, about having financial freedom. I remember I had a close friend and we would go shopping together and I would look at something and it would be like, I really like it, right? But I would just look at it and put it back, and she would be like, "How'd you get that for yourself?" And then she would talk to me about how I would experience it, right? Because you can wear this when you go blah 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 and blah blah blah. And when she got through with her story, I was like, okay, I was still uncomfortable, but I would get it. And going through that process, and it's a process over time, is what released all that negativity around doing something for me, right? When
Yeah.
I could afford it, right? It
She
wasn't like I
replaced
was
the
counting pennies.
negative
Yes,
with multiple images that were positive that
yes.
you saw yourself in. That is, woo,
Right.
that
And
is
I
so
and
good.
actually as she was talking to me about you can do da da da, I felt my body relax with okay. It was like I actually thought I never thought of that because I had never thought of what what I would experience if I did do this. All I thought about is I don't need that. That's not necessary. It's extra. So put it back. It was like a
Mm,
from one dot to the other. I like it, but put it back.
yeah.
And she took me to
Catch and release.
another step. Yes. Yes.
Well, what a gift that was. And I'm
Yes, it
sure
was.
so in your work with the entrepreneurs, what types of little girl journeys do you take them on? In again, you talk somewhat about money of helping them just rethink how
Right.
they saw money and
Right.
how they what they deserved.
Right. So the very first thing is, and it ties into what we just talked about with my best friend giving me a vision. The very first thing I do is I talk to them about the vision of their business. I get them to dream about the vision of their business because that takes them energetically to a place where they're more relaxed, where their body, their nervous system is relaxed, so it knows, okay, this is a safe space. I can dream here, I can breathe here, I can get connected with possibilities here and what really is going to make me happy. Because a lot of times we start a business with a dream to either build a legacy or to just be more financially free or to just not have a boss telling us what to do,
Right.
but we never really sit into the power of that dream. What is it going to feel like? What am
Okay.
I really releasing and relieving? So we
Right.
start there with the dreaming. What are you going to release and what are you going to gain? And how does that feel to gain that? And then from that place, we can step deeper into, okay, what is your current relationship with money? How do you feel when you spend this? How you feel when you don't know what all your expenses are because you're buying them on every other credit card, out of every other bank account except for your business bank account. So you're kind of hiding those expenses from yourself, but the
Mm,
money is still going out. So
right.
we have a conversation about that. Why are you uncomfortable seeing all those numbers in one place? right?
Yeah.
Why are you uncomfortable organizing this at the end of every month so you can see your true numbers, your true sales, and your true expenses? What does hiding from that do for you? And what's the fear there? Like
Mhm.
what's the worst you think is going to happen if you see it,
Right.
right? So getting them comfortable to from the dream space to really talk about what they feel, because a lot of times people in my profession, they just talk about the logic of the logic is you're in business to make money. You need to know what your revenue is, you need to know what your expenses are. How are you going to run a business without that, right?
Right. Right.
And they already know that logic. So it's not that they're illogical. They have the logic, but it's the emotional side of it.
Right.
It's the internal part of the experience that they need help working through to get to a place where it coincides with the logic to, okay, I'm going to spend 30 minutes every week on a Friday looking at my numbers. I'm not going to
Mhm.
be afraid of them. It's going to inform me for building that dream I talked about with Linette, right? I can see that dream now. And okay, if it takes 30 minutes every Friday, I can dedicate that time. So that's where we go.
And it's nice that you make it a small, manageable amount of time, not 30 hours, not three
No,
hours. 30
no.
minutes is a
Doable,
bite of the
right,
elephant.
right. You can suffer, even if it's suffering, you can suffer through 30 minutes and come out and be like, woo, got it done.
Yes. And
Till
then
next
realize
week.
that
I
it
don't have
wasn't
to look
maybe
at
as
it again till
painful.
next week.
Yes.
Yes.
That's good. That's
Yes.
good.
So yeah, that's key. And I always give my entrepreneurs small steps like that
That's
to
really good.
get to the big game. Small steps, because big steps are really hard to sustain.
Hmm.
You may do it once, but you're going to get tired and you're going to avoid it,
Right.
right? So if it's a small step, you can, okay, I can do this one day a week and don't have to come back for 7 days to do it again. And then at the end of the year, you have everything in order. You know exactly what your numbers are, you understand everything, and you have what you've done is you've allowed your nervous system to get used to this. So you're growing internally too, emotionally through the process. It's not just about the mental
Right.
understanding of it.
Yeah. So I tie this back, just hearing you say that. You said when you first started speaking up for yourself and identifying what you want and naming, not just going along. Tell a little bit more about how you practice that with yourself now that I see that you are applying it in your coaching practice with women entrepreneurs. What was that like for you in your journey? What were the practices that you did for your little girl to find her voice and to express herself?
So a couple of things. One thing really big I did was journal,
Okay.
because I love to write. As a child, I always wrote poetry and short stories. So I found journaling, and really I call it emotion dumping, right?
Yes.
So and I actually did this yesterday, right? So when you're feeling emotions that you really can't put your finger on, you don't know why, you can't really say a particular event caused it,
Hmm.
but you know you're feeling some type of way about something, right? I
Yes.
just start writing it out. Okay, I feel, because you can run it in your head and you won't get any clarity.
Right.
But when you write it out, it's just so healing to, because once you start,
Hmm.
then the truth starts coming out. So, like, the first thing you write is really not what it is, right? It's just the thing that's top of mind because it's
Right.
really down in here somewhere. So
Right.
you have to keep writing and keep writing and keep writing. And you start getting clarity, and it's going to be chaotic at first. You're going to jump from topic to topic, but journaling is one thing that has been very healing for me in learning how to express what I'm feeling, because eventually I get down to, oh, this is what I'm really feeling, right? Maybe 2 pages in. This is what was down there, right? So
Yeah.
journaling, affirmations. We
Hmm.
talked about not feeling worthy is a big issue. So affirmations to the saying the opposite of that to yourself, because if no one said it to you or poured into you, or you never believed it before,
Right.
now it's your opportunity to change that for you, and you
Mm.
have to do it. I talk
Beautiful.
about a lot radical self-love, because to me that's the concept of taking care of yourself and loving yourself in a way that no one else can. Like no one can love me like I can. So if I don't give me that love, I would never feel it.
Mm.
And it encompasses knowing everything I do about me, all my strengths, all my weaknesses, all the things I know and all the things I don't know, and still loving me unconditionally. Knowing all of that, knowing all the mess, right? And all the beautiful stuff, and
Yeah.
still loving me unconditionally to the point where I won't let someone else mistreat me.
Right. That's what I was
That's
gonna say.
radical self-love.
I
Yeah.
know this ties to relationships.
Yeah.
What were did the relationships with your siblings change after you started speaking up? Your family, were you did that happen with them?
Let's see. I can't really think of any way that it changed. Not in a way, not in a way that it impacted me, right? I would think, there were probably some conversations that people didn't appreciate that we had, but the dynamics of loving each other, that didn't change, right? The
Yeah.
dynamics of our closeness, that didn't change. But yeah.
I heard Lisa Nichols talk about going back to her family when she realized she didn't want to be have the dynamics that she had, and she started with an apology for letting them think it was okay to treat her like that.
Mhm.
So along those lines of just saying, by the way, me going along with everything, yeah, that's over. No, we don't do that anymore. And so knowing that the shift is for them to be able to hear the new, hear the voice of Linette that they never heard as a young girl. So
Mm,
I'm so
mm.
glad to hear that that went smoothly, even though you did have to have a few of those those courageous conversations that I like to call
Yeah.
them. But it's good that they were able to receive that. They were probably just
Mhm.
surprised, like, oh, she does have an opinion.
Right. Right.
Oh, that's wonderful. And that's important too, is you find your way, just like you said, all types of relationships. When you leave the house and other people, you can't just go along. That's unsafe,
Right.
emotionally
Right.
unsafe, spiritually unsafe. So that's beautiful that you have a process, the journaling, the affirmations, your self-talk, right? I
Yeah.
call it a brain dump. So same thing, emotional dump, brain. It's
Yeah.
emotions and thoughts and all of that to just bleh, get it out. And
Right.
then you can
And I,
really feel what you feel.
yes. And I wrote a journal for Black women entrepreneurs called Your 90-Day Success Journal.
Oh,
That's on Amazon. And what
okay.
it does is it's a quarterly journal because I think we should plan our businesses, especially in quarters. Because a
Hmm.
lot of times we go 10 years, 5 years, but we need to break it down quarterly.
What about yeah.
Yes. And so it takes you to planning for your business goals quarterly, breaking it down to monthly, then weekly. Then every week you have a daily journal where it starts off with affirmations. You start off with the one thing you are grateful for. So it's gratitude journaling. And then the one thing you want to accomplish for that day. So you think of what is my one big goal? What can I do? Because we have so many things to do.
Yeah.
I know for me, it was a struggle becoming an entrepreneur to be able
Hmm.
to manage my own schedule and
Yes.
to do it effectively, like to not get distracted and do something else for 3 hours, then realize, oh, I was supposed to be doing this over here.
Wait, and
Right?
3 hours went by and before you
Yes,
noticed, right? Yes.
exactly.
That
So
makes a lot of
your
sense.
goals, and then at the end of the day, which I think is very important, to recap what did you accomplish, or what did you learn, or what
Mm,
made you laugh that day, right?
that's
Or
good.
how did you support yourself that day? So just guiding Black women entrepreneurs through that process and making it a habit too, because we go so quickly from a
Right.
success to what's the next problem,
Yes.
right? Making it a habit to let our nervous system sit in a successful moment. We deserve to sit in successful moments and know what that feels like. Get our body used to that so that it knows that's a good thing because we're used
Hmm.
to all the stress,
Right.
right? It's
Yes.
very versed in how to have stress and it internalize it, but it needs something to balance that. So we need the wellness, we need the peace, we need the success moments to help us heal internally.
That high cortisol level, which again triggers illness.
Right.
Stress, all autoimmune disease is tied to stress,
Yes.
and they don't even try to treat that. I
Right.
love that, and I want to make sure we make that journal available to our listeners. So we'll make sure to include the description of how to get that
Wonderful.
in the description so that they can click on the link and in our posts when we advertise this. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, when you if you were talking to someone who was that peacemaker, that silent, go along with everything, everybody, little girl now running an adult woman's life, what would you tell her to help her break the cycle?
What would I tell the adult her?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I would
If she
say,
hasn't, especially if she hasn't started yet.
right. I would say it's time for you to investigate the things you really love.
Mm.
So it's time for you to just sit with you and investigate the things you really love, to get to know what you like. And it's going to be an exciting journey because just imagine feeling happy, feeling full of joy, knowing the things that you can do for yourself to build the happiness, to feel happiness moments. So I would tell that person to start with journaling, to start with a dream. Like, what would be your dream day, right? What would you do
Mm.
if you had a whole day to yourself? What would you do? And it would take some time for that person to describe, okay, it's just me. Yep, just you. What do you like? What would I like? Okay, well, what would you eat for breakfast? Um, so just going through that process, that would be the very first exercise. Just build a dream day and what you would do each hour of that day. And in that exercise, you're getting to know what resonates with you. You know, it's been quiet, it's been pushed down, but you can bring it, you can get in touch with it and figure out, well, I did like when we did, X, Y, that. I really did like that. So
Yeah.
just starting small and simple and then building on that. And then getting to the point where you own your voice and now you're standing up for yourself in all situations.
I thought it was so cute that you said they would say, like, it's just me.
Yeah.
Because when you've been that person, you don't even think of life through the lens of it's just me.
No.
It's not just me. Because I've always yielded to the will of the people,
Yes.
whoever the masses
Exactly.
were around, the one or two or however many people in a
Yes.
large family, and being the youngest, especially, I'm sure my mother comes from a family of 12, and she's third
Ah,
from the youngest. So
uh-huh.
being able to be heard, being able to have that voice is so critical
Yes.
in those dynamics and the messages. What messages
Yes.
have you told yourself all this time? Well,
Exactly.
this has been so beautiful, and so you have such perfectly clear steps to get to that money story. You've got to be able to
Mhm.
get to your dream,
Yes.
your dream day. What brings you joy? I talk about in my journal to find your little girl. What were the things that made her smile? I call them micro delights. The
Yes.
small thing. If it's that first lick of ice cream of your favorite ice cream,
There you go. Yes.
the sun on your face or your feet
Yes.
in the sand. I still
Yes.
try to do those things now because
Mm-hmm.
they're still bring me joy,
Exactly.
especially when we lose her. If she's
Mm-hmm.
been pushed down, like that incident you talked about, you push that feeling down, you ignore it, then you start to ignore part of yourself.
Yes.
And then your emotions that are tied to that are lost. You got to
Exactly.
resurrect them, dig them up, but
Right.
starting with the joy, starting with the dream, starting with the things that you like to do. So that is
Yeah.
fabulous. Thank you so much. So we'll
Yeah.
share all of your information for the Black female entrepreneurs out there to find Empower Her. Is there new
Yeah.
branding available now? Can we disclose that?
Empower her. It's on the way.
Okay.
It's on the way.
Okay. Well, we'll send the breadcrumbs so that people can get to it.
Yes.
And we'll share your journal, your 90-day success journal, and just to give women, I love it. Again, you're very intentional about breaking these very large tasks down into smaller items from 90 days to months to weeks to the
Yes.
day and
Yes.
reflecting on that day at the end.
Mm-hmm.
What went well? celebrate the successes. Those are the things that build us up. That
They
now we don't have to
are.
be afraid of success because, oh, I was
There you
successful
go.
yesterday.
Yes.
See where you going with this?
Yeah, you got it, Stacy.
Oh,
You
that
get
is
used to
fabulous.
feeling it, then it's not a fear. It's like it's just a part of
It's
existence.
normal. You
Yeah,
normalize. Instead of
exactly.
normalizing fear, you normalize success.
That's
Woo!
it. Right there. You brought it full circle.
That is, it
I
clicked. I was like,
love it.
now I got it.
Yes,
And the
yes,
words that you use and the intentionality behind, because of your story, because of your journey, because your little girl was silent.
yes,
And when it was time for her to find her voice, you were so empathetic of what it's like to be on the other side. You don't
exactly.
react with the that people
Right,
do. You're like,
right.
okay, baby, now it's a way. It's not the
Exactly.
way. It's your
Right,
way. It don't have to be my way.
right.
That
Yeah,
matters because that validates the other person also.
yes,
Because people act like that when they don't feel worthy.
right,
So they're
right,
clawing and scratching for it. It's got to be
right.
my way.
Yes,
Like, no,
yes.
ma'am, it does
I'm
not.
like, I'm not trying to change you.
Yes,
So don't try to change me. We can both coexist.
that's beautiful.
We
Woo,
can coexist.
the
And one
softness.
thing, Stacey, I really want to say is that I find that in this journey of entrepreneurship, I always call it a spiritual journey.
Yeah.
And I let people know that any type of trauma that you have experienced that you haven't dealt with, you're going to have to face it to be successful in business, right? To be successful in business and be full of joy, right? Because you can make a lot of money and not be happy and full of joy. But to be successful and full of joy in health, have your
Yeah.
joy, health, and wealth, you're going to have to face that trauma and deal with it because you were able to push it down when you weren't going for something great. Now you're trying to build something great. And to get there,
Mhm.
your greatness has to come out through all that stuff. And it has to move all that out the way so it can come out. Right?
Right.
That's why you feel stuck because your greatness is underneath there. So yeah, let's deal with this the trauma, the things that we push down so that we can become the greatest of ourselves, the greatest version.
My tagline is empowering women to become.
All right. I love it.
I
I love
love the synchronicity of how God brings us together to have these
yeah,
conversations. To you got to deal with the trauma so that you can get to the success to become what you're
yes,
called to do, what your dream that God placed
right.
in you
Yes,
as a Black female entrepreneur. We've been doing this in life without calling it that forever.
yes, yes,
But now it's time to be able to name it, to call it out, to walk in it, to stand
yes,
in our success and our joy versus even what's happiness, because happiness is what's happening.
right.
Joy is the fruit of the spirit. It stays. It's a product of the spiritual journey.
Mm,
Woo!
yes.
Well, this
Yeah.
has been amazing. What parting words do you have for our listeners?
What I would like to say to your listeners is to give yourself grace. Because as we walk through this journey in life, you hear people saying these days, life be lifey. Stuff happens.
Yeah,
There is no experience, there's no existence in life where every day is a sunny day, right?
right.
There are going to be some rainy days, there are going to be some storms. Your goal is to remember those sunny days when the rain and the storms come and know that there are more sunny days on the way.
That's that's beautiful. What I will say to our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. If you are an aspiring entrepreneur and you need this kind of mentoring and coaching and empowerment, this is a perfect person for you to connect with. And we'll put the contact information. Linette, where are you located?
Florida.
You're in Florida. So we got Florida and California on the line. It's raining there and it's sunny here today. So, but always, especially places like Florida, it rains one second and the sun is out the next. So
Yes,
write it
yes,
out and walk
yeah.
through those journeys, walk through those steps. So here we are, Such a blessing to have had this time with you. So thankful that to the audience. Thank you for tuning in. This is Linette Cottrell, and she's going to be relaunching her business under Empower Her. If you are the her that seeks to be empowered, we're going to make sure you get in touch with her and at least get your hands to get started on that 90-day success journal and reach out to Linette to walk you through that. If you're on the journey of finding your little girl, Staci Speaks Hope is pointing to the No More Lies workbook and workshop to walk you through the steps of finding your little girl so that she can find out the lies, like Linette talked about, finding the lies. Her voice didn't matter. You have to know that so that you can offset the lie with the truth, that actually my voice matters and I have a way to say that. And the grace that she showed up with as she stepped into her empowerment was having empathy with those other people, that she didn't try to change anybody because she remembered what it was like when people spoke for her or when her voice was lost. Mm-hmm. So you've got the partnership of what we offer to find where you want to plug in, where you are in your process. So grateful for everything today. Be blessed.
Thank you for watching Staci Speaks Hope. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. To schedule a free coaching call, the link is in the description.
Grown woman, holding in story she needs to tell what God really wants you to do in this world. In His name, hope to break free from the shackles and the lies that have become your truth and put blinders on your eyes. You built walls around your heart. You have plugged up your ears. Get freedom to hope's what you need. It's in reach. Wipe your tears.